If you are brand new to anime, then here are the classics you must watch. The anime world does indeed have a big three, but those names may change depending on who you ask and when you ask. Honestly, there is no one true measure to greatness because that largely boils down to personal preference. I would say the only way to definitively say that a show is better or worse than another show boils down to the numbers, because we all know women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie. So you could go by manga copies sold, TV ratings, streaming performance, box office numbers, merch sales, or even awards won. Ultimately, whatever metric matters most to you. I said all this to say, just because a show is a classic doesn't mean it's the best. So I don't want y'all arguing with me thinking that this video is me recommending the best anime ever. It's me recommending the classics, because y'all be getting that confused. If you're ready to see these classics, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Now, anime started long before I was born or thought about, so there are obviously a lot of classics that I'm oblivious to, and I haven't seen every anime ever created. Neither have you. However, I want to start by defining what a classic is. The Webster definition is serving as a standard of excellence or of recognized value or historically memorable. When it comes down to anime, that means a show that has proven itself either through numbers, sales, ratings, box office, etc., or a show that left a major cultural mark and is still referenced, memed, and celebrated today. But a distinction in that something can be historically memorable and not be regarded as excellent. It could actually be horrible, but so horrible that it gained a cult following. If you can't tell by now, I'm handling today's lineup with care. So for each pick, I will tell you why it's on my list and what I think makes it a classic. And today's picks are in alphabetical order because I don't want no smoke. Let's get into the first recommendation, the film Akira. After a government cover-up unleashes psychic power in Neo-Tokyo, Kaneda is forced into a war between corrupt authorities and his own best friend turning into a weapon. I'm considering this a classic because it's widely regarded as a masterpiece of animated science fiction and one of the pillars of cyberpunk and adult animation, proving animation could be cinematic, political, and mature. It directly inspired the bullet time action style we later saw in The Matrix and influenced shows like Stranger Things and films like Looper. Now let's jump into Berserk, 1997. In a brutal medieval world, it tells the story of Guts, a mercenary warrior who joins and then leaves a mercenary group. Berserk is considered a classic for pioneering dark fantasy and its high emotional states. The themes of trauma, ambition, and survival shape how adult anime could really feel. You can even see this influence in the Dark Souls-like genre in gaming. Next, we've got Bleach. When Ichigo accidentally gains Soul Reaper powers, he becomes the defender between living humans and dangerous spirits. It's a classic for its fights, aesthetics, and confidence in shōnen. Full disclosure, this is a show I did give up on, but I can't deny that its spot in the big three is earned, and it definitely helped build the modern era of anime. Its visual identity inspired character design trends across anime and games, and I promise y'all, I'm gonna finish it. Now let's talk about Cowboy Bebop. A dysfunctional crew of bounty hunters roam space chasing bounties and more than they bargained for. This show is a classic because it perfected cinematic pacing, adult storytelling, and as a bonus, it had a smooth jazz soundtrack. It opened the door for anime to be taken seriously by Western adults, especially through Toonami and late night TV. Filmmakers openly cite Bebop as a blueprint for cool. See you, Space Cowboy. You already know what's coming next. Dragon Ball Z. Goku and the Z Fighters throw hands against the Ops every other week. Dragon Ball Z shaped action anime forever. Power levels, transformation, yelling for 5 episodes straight. Even people who swear they don't watch or don't like anime have both seen and liked Dragon Ball Z. It turned battle anime into a worldwide spectacle and inspired everything from Naruto to real life gym culture. It also has a $30+ billion merch empire. Now this one's beloved across the board. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. After a forbidden alchemy ritual goes wrong, the Elric brothers search for redemption and for their original bodies. It's a classic for near perfect pacing, character writing, and themes that make you question humanity. Brotherhood has been ranked one of the greatest anime ever. Consistently. It proved that you can balance action, humor, tragedy, and philosophy without losing the audience. This one is the gold standard of storytelling. Going back to cyberpunk, we have Ghost in the Shell. In a hyper-connected future, Major Kusanagi hunts a hacker who is blurring the line between human and machine. It's a classic due to its groundbreaking animation and smart philosophical tension that redefines sci-fi. This film shaped the look and ideas of Avatar and multiple major Hollywood cyberpunk films. The influence influence still shows up everywhere technology meets identity. Next up, Naruto. A lonely kid with a demon fox sealed inside him fights for acknowledgement and dreams of becoming Hokage, the strongest ninja in the village. Naruto is a classic for boasting the underdog trope to a new level. Undoubtedly, Naruto's influence can be seen in modern shōnen like Black Clover and even sports anime where passion beats talent. Now I must say this was a show that made me aware that filler lists existed. Despite this, it turned Never Give Up into a war cry for an entire generation. Time for a brain breaker, Evangelion. Teen pilots suit up to fight mysterious angels, but the real battle is with trauma, identity, and the end of the world. Evangelion is a classic because it reinvented the mecha genre with psychological depth, symbolism, and raw emotional storytelling. It challenged audience and critics alike, sparking decades of analysis and debate. Its influence helped shape darker, more introspective anime like Gurren Lagann and Darling in the Franxx. Quick question, which of these classics do you think are overhyped or overlooked? Set sail with One Piece. Luffy and the Straw Hats chase the ultimate treasure while rewriting the meaning of freedom and friendship. One Piece is a classic for unmatched world building, character depth, and its ability to emotionally hook viewers hundreds of episodes in. It's also the best-selling manga of all time, so numbers do a lot of the talking here. Oda's influence can be seen in modern adventure storytelling across anime and even Western animated shows. I'm still making steady progress, but by this time next year, I will be caught up, y'all. Next, a psychological nightmare, Perfect Blue. A pop idol's transition into acting spirals into paranoia as her identity shatters in terrifying ways. This film is a classic for pioneering psychological horror and showing just how dark and stylish anime cinema could really get. It leaves you feeling uneasy long after the credits end. It later influenced Hollywood blockbusters like Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream. AMC recently screened its remaster, which means the world got another chance to see this masterpiece on the big screen. Now it's time for pure nostalgia. Pokemon. Ash and Pikachu set out to become legends, one badge and best friend moment at a time. It's classic because it launched the biggest media franchise on earth. Anime, games, merch, events, Hollywood movies, you name it. It turned anime into a household staple for the entire 90s generation. The theme song became an anthem. It's instantly recognizable across generations and still one of the most iconic opening themes in anime and children's entertainment history. Next up, we have Sailor Moon. A group of magical girls fight evil by moonlight and protect love by daylight while being unapologetically feminine. It's a classic because it flipped the script. Shōnen level action aimed at girls who rarely got to see themselves win. Sailor Moon created a blueprint for girl-powered superhero teams and boosted queer and feminist visibility in anime. Its aesthetic and themes influenced shows like Pretty Cure, Steven Universe, Teen Titans Go, and even Western cosplay culture. Now let's run the court with Slam Dunk. Hanamichi Sakuragi goes from clowning around to finding real passion through basketball with jokes and jump shots along the way. Slam Dunk is a classic for making sports anime mainstream and boosting real-world basketball fandom in Japan and across Asia. You could argue that without Slam Dunk, we might not have many of the sports animes that we have today. Time for an Oscar winner, Spirited Away. Chihiro stumbles into a spirit world where work, courage, and love are her only ways home. This is a classic because it blends fantasy and humanity in a way few films have ever done, earning critical acclaim worldwide. It became the highest grossing Japanese film for nearly 2 decades and brought Studio Ghibli into international spotlight. Filmmakers across the globe cite it as proof that animation can be high art. Now a modern horror cult classic, Tokyo Ghoul Season 1. When Kaneki becomes half ghoul, he has to survive a violent new world where he no longer fully belongs. Season 1 is iconic for its tragic tone, monstrous beauty, and that white hair transformation that broke the internet. It's a classic for introducing dark fantasy horror fans to anime with complex emotions and depth. Later seasons exist, but season 1 was unforgettable and its influence has shown in edgy supernatural anime ever since. And finally, Yu-Gi-Oh! A mystical card game becomes life or death battles where strategy and heart decide fate. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a classic for building a billion-dollar trading card empire and shaping childhoods everywhere. It was dramatic, bold, and absolutely unhinged in the best way possible. The show proved anime could fuel global competitive gaming culture long before esports became a thing. I remember remember catching this show in the morning while I was getting ready for school way back in my elementary days. Now you might be thinking that I'm missing a few shows, right? And truthfully, there are some shows that I talk about quite frequently or recently, so I didn't want to take up space with them and miss the opportunity to highlight some other shows, with Sailor Moon being the exception because I'm biased, so she goes on all the lists. So let's get into the honorable mentions, and we're gonna start with Astro Boy. It's cited as the first popular Japanese animated television series. A robot boy with a human heart fights for justice, and in doing so, the 1963 series basically invented TV's anime playbook: episodic structure, limited animation efficiency, and a global export and merchandising model. It's a classic because it laid the foundation for everything from heroic shonen leads to robot child archetypes. I'm putting it as an honorable mention because it might feel a bit dated for modern viewers. Came out in the 60s, but as the root of so much anime DNA is absolutely necessary. Next is Attack on Titan. Humanity fights giant monsters behind the walls. This series shook mainstream anime with global streaming hype and darker themes. And remember, I'm going in alphabetical order, y'all, so don't get started. Next we have Death Note. A high schooler gets a Death Note book and plays God. One of the most thrilling mind games in anime that brought psychological storytelling into the mainstream. Elfen Lied, a brutal emotional horror story with a cult following. It challenged what anime could be with graphic violence, heartbreak, and weird beauty. Inuyasha, time-traveling adventure meets feudal Japan demons. Now, it helped introduce 2000s anime to Western audiences and is very nostalgic. Mobile Suit Gundam, giant robots in war-torn space. This franchise laid the foundation for modern mecha and is still influencing anime, toys, and model culture. And I just recently saw the newest film that came out a few months back. Sword Art Online. Gamers trapped in a virtual reality death game. Divisive, yes, but hugely influential in spawning the isekai boom and gamer culture anime. And our final one, Yu Yu Hakusho, high school delinquent turned spirit detective, a 90s shonen classic that defined tournament arcs and character power-ups for a generation. You ain't seen a tournament until you witness the Dark Tournament saga. So I hope there is something you can take from this list and give it a try if you haven't before. And as always, this is classics, not necessarily the best, not necessarily, you know, amazing, blow your mind. Yes, some of these are pretty recent, but some of them are a little older. And of course, I couldn't get every single classic on this list, but I think I hit the high points. So hopefully you see something that changes your mind about anime. And if so, let me know. And if I missed anything, let me know that as well. If you are new to anime or just looking for recommendations of things to add to your watch list, I'm building a series just for you. So go check it out and make sure you subscribe. When one arc ends, another one begins. See you next time.